In this video, we'll calculate missing sides of triangles using Pythagorean Theorem. Let's call this missing side x. We're trying to find it when the sides are 5 and 12. Well, Pythagorean Theorem tells us that c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So the missing side, x squared, equals 5 squared plus 12 squared. It doesn't matter where you put the 5 and the 12, as long as the c, the long side, the hypotenuse, matches up correctly, which in this case was x. So we get x squared equals 25, that's 5 squared, and 12 squared is 144. When you add those together, 25 plus 144 gives you 169. How do you solve a square? What's the opposite of squaring? Square root. So we'll square root both sides, and we get x equals, you might be able to do that in your head, but if you can't, square root of 169, you get 13. So x equals 13. If this were a word problem, we'd put a word answer, but it's just a triangle which we were asked to solve. Which is the same for question 2. We have two sides given, 6.5 meters and 11.9 meters. But the missing side here, I'll call it y, is not the hypotenuse. It's one of the smaller sides. So we're going to do our c squared equals a squared plus b squared formula. That's Pythagorean theorem. But the c squared has to match up correctly to this longer side, the hypotenuse, which is 11.9. So we do 11.9 squared, and then we can pick either one for a and b. Say a is 6.5 squared, b is the y squared. So on our calculator, let's calculate 11.9 squared. You get 141.61 equals 0.5 squared, 42.25 plus y squared. We're going to clear away what's being added onto y by subtracting 42.25 from both sides. So 141.61 take away 42.25 gives us 99.36. And on the right hand side, 42.25 take away 42.25 cancels out, which is what we want. Now we have y squared by itself. How do you get rid of a squared? Just square root. And you get y is, we're going to need to round here, so put a rounding dot, square root of 99.36, and you get approximately 9.968. Don't forget the units are meters. And we're done, although I think I forgot the units on the previous question. I did, put those units back in. And just a note here on form, there's the same 5 steps every time. Do the formula, sub in the values, do the squaring, and then depending which kind of question it was, 1 or 2, we add or subtract, then square root, and when we get that, we have our final answer. Both did the exact same steps, even though they were very different questions.